Let's move to the incorporation stage. Here I will introduce the procedures and details of each incorporation stage, and we'll also cover the bank account opening later. This is the incorporation process for Taiwan company and branch. The first step is to reserve the company name, and the company name must be in Chinese. English name is optional, and we suggest you can also register the English name for future international transactions. The second step is to apply for investment approval. You need to submit the required documents such as shareholder information and also like a business plan. Once got the approval, then we can open the bank account. Please know that there will be 2 times for bank account opening. The first one is to open a preparatory bank account. It is just a temporary bank account for capital injection. And the second one is to open the official bank account, and which is the last step for incorporation process. Most Taiwan banks will request the company's representative to visit the bank in person, and only few banks they accept the local agent with a power of attorney to open a bank account. We will discuss it later. Okay, after the preparatory bank account opened, you need to transfer the capital from your foreign bank account. The funds should be transferred in foreign currency, like US dollars. Once the bank receives the fund, it will be exchanged to the Taiwan dollars based on the current exchange rate. Because the exchange rate is changing from time to time, we usually suggest to transfer a little bit more, and the extra portion will be returned to your overseas bank account. This is to ensure the bank will receive the exact capital amount in Taiwan dollars. The capital injection will be required to be audited by a local CPA. Okay, after the capital is settled, the next step is to file for business registration and tax registration. You will receive an incorporation approval letter and a company registration form. The last step is to go to the bank again to open the official bank account we discussed before. Okay, let's move to the time frame and document section. The first step, name reservation, it will take around 2 working days. The required documents include proposed Chinese name, director's copy of passport, and proposed business scope. The reservation will be valid for 6 months. Second step, apply for investment approval. It will take around 21 to 28 working days. Please note that a legalized power of attorney will be required. You can do the legalization in your country or in Taiwan. The original copy will be required for submission. There's also one thing need to be aware. Due to the political issue, China and Hong Kong investors will be subject to more documentation, and the time frame will be much longer. So you need to firstly check the shareholder's nationality before the submission. Preparatory bank account opening. The time frame will be depends on which bank you choose. For example, If you choose a local government-owned bank, it will take around 2 hours for bank account opening. But if you choose a foreign-owned bank like CT or HSBC, it will take probably 2 to 4 weeks. Step 4 is capital injection and audit. It will take 14 to 21 working days. As discussed before, capital must be transferred from your foreign bank account in foreign currency. The inward remittance and exchange memo will be required for capital audit by local CPA. Step 5 is to file the company registration. The government fee is calculated based on the capital amount, which is 1 Taiwan dollars for every 4,000 capital amount. The higher capital amount will result in the higher government fee. The registration process will take 10 to 15 working days. About the required documents, rental agreement and house tax receipt will need to be submitted to registration office. After approved by the registration office, you will get a company registration number, which means your company has been officially set up and can start to do business in Taiwan. The tax registration will take around 10 working days. In the past, the representative need to go to the tax office for a tax interview. The tax officer will ask few questions about the business and to understand the business nature. But due to the COVID-19, you can assign an agent to attend the interview with a power of attorney. The last step is to open the official bank account. The time frame is also depends on which bank you choose. A local bank is faster, but usually they request the representative go to the bank in person. And the foreign banks accept power of attorney, but they will set a higher standard and threshold and require much more longer time for KYC. The time frame to complete the incorporation process for a limited company or branch will be around 3 months in total if everything goes smoothly. The incorporation process for rep office is quite simple. Only need to do the business registration and tax registration. The required documentations are similar with the limited company, and the total time frame is around only 3 weeks. It is much faster than a limited company and a branch because there is no bank account opening involved, so it saves a lot of time. Please note that a rep office can also open a bank account in Taiwan after the incorporation process is done, and the representative will need to visit the bank in person. Right. This part is about the bank account opening in Taiwan. Actually, bank account opening is really important for your Taiwan entity. Based on the local regulation, you must open a local bank account in Taiwan for capital injection. So the first thing is to find a local bank either by yourself or agent. Nowadays, to open a bank account is not easy because Taiwan government announced the new anti-money laundering laws and request all the banks to enhance their internal control and KYC process. Banks start to change their strategy and set a higher standard for new clients. In the past, you can freely choose any bank to open a bank account, and all banks welcome new clients. But now they might say no if even you have good reputation. Okay, the first one, local agent. For the bank account opening, we strongly suggest you find a local agent or staff to handle it, because most Taiwan bankers, they do not speak English. Some bankers even don't have the experience to handle the capital injection. So miscommunication will be very likely to happen and delay your incorporation process. Secondly, most banks request the representative to visit the bank in person to open the bank account. The representative will need to go to the bank 2 times during the incorporation process and in different stages. Due to the COVID-19 issue, most foreigners now, they don't want to come to Taiwan and cannot to apply for Taiwan visa. Therefore, you may need to consider those banks who accept power of attorney, or you can find a Taiwanese to be the representative. Based on our experience, some larger sized foreign banks like Citi, Standard Chartered, they accept power of attorney, so the representative no need to come to Taiwan. So if you have bank account in these banks, you can try to contact your relationship manager in your country and ask them to contact their Taiwan branch, supporting the bank account opening. Requirements. Different banks have different requirements for new clients. For example, some local government-owned banks only accept clients whose location is close to the bank. If the location is not close to the bank, they will refuse and ask you go to the bank near your office. For foreign banks like Citi or HSBC, they usually set a high threshold for new clients, such as minimum account balance, high transaction value, or request to buy their financial products. The requirements are changing from time to time. About the business operation, you also need to consider 3 issues. The first one is e-banking function. We usually suggest to apply for e-banking when they open the bank account, so they can do the bank transaction remotely and no need to visit the bank for payments. Second is service fee. We found that each bank service fee is different. And for some banks, you can even negotiate the fee with the banks. You should ask the bank to provide a fee table before you open the bank account. And the third one is language support. If you will not hire local staff to handle the bank transactions, we would suggest you choose a bank with English language support, such as Citibank, DBS, Standard Chartered, or HSBC. Other local banks do not provide English service. The third part about the bank account is the global information exchange. Due to the international political issue, Taiwan currently only signed the information exchange agreement with 3 countries: the United States, Japan, and Australia. Which means if you are from other countries, your Taiwan bank account transaction will not be auto exchanged to your government. Alright, this is the bank account section, and nowadays banks are changing their policies frequently because there are more and more new regulations they need to comply, and they also need to consider their profit. So find a good bank for foreign investor is not an easy job. If you have any further question about the bank account opening, we are happy to discuss with you in details after the webinar. Here we also provide the links for Department of Commerce and Investment Commissions, so you can get the relevant information. One thing you need to know is that all the application forms to be submitted for incorporation must be in Chinese.